Some nights aren't just dark. They wait for you. And on a secluded road in rural New Hampshire, the sky seemed to open up for an ordinary couple. But what they encountered that night in 1961 would forever change the way the world views contact with the unknown. This is the real-life story of Betty and Barney Hill. And maybe something inside you will never be the same again.
September 19th, 1961. Betty and Barney Hill were returning from a vacation in Canada. A middle-class couple, he a postal worker, she a social worker. Discreet, hard-working, with no history of interest in paranormal phenomena. It was around 10:30 p.m. The sky was clear, starry. The road through the New Hampshire countryside was silent. Only the sound of the engine and the solitude of the asphalt accompanied them. But then, Betty saw something, a light much brighter than any star. It seemed to follow them. It moved erratically, and for a moment it seemed alive. Barney tried to remain calm. He said it must be a satellite or a commercial airliner, but the light changed direction swiftly, as if it were conscious. They stopped the car. Betty grabbed binoculars. Barney walked alone to a nearby clearing. The object now hovered less than 100 feet above, a metallic disc with illuminated windows, and behind the windows, figures. Barney described tall, thin men in dark uniforms and large eyes that stared at him with an unnamed coldness. He felt something deep, instinctive, as if his mind had been invaded. He ran back to the car, shouting, "They're going to get us!" And then everything went white.
When they came to, they were miles from the sighting, unsure how they had gotten there, unsure how much time had passed. Their clocks stopped. Their clothes were strangely damaged. Betty's dress was ripped down the side. Barney's shoes were scuffed as if he had been dragged. They felt exhausted, confused, but more than that, empty. They had lost 2 hours. 2 hours they would never remember clearly again.
Days later, Betty began to dream. But they weren't ordinary dreams. She saw a metallic room, intense white light, and beings with grayish skin. They were surrounding her, watching, studying. One of them, the one who seemed to be the leader, communicated without words. He said they wouldn't hurt her. He said she wouldn't remember anything. Barney began to have anxiety attacks, insomnia, unexplained flashbacks of huge, cold eyes staring at him closely. Desperate for answers, Betty and Barney sought out psychiatrist Dr. Benjamin Simon, who subjected them to regressive hypnosis sessions. The recordings still exist today. They are disturbing fragments of a fragmented memory. Barney cries during the session. He describes a room where he was forced to lie down. Beings examine his eyes and skin and insert objects into his body. Betty speaks of a long needle piercing his navel, of an icy liquid, of a star map shown to her, lines and dots connected, indicating where the visitors would come from. When the case became public, it caused a national uproar. Newspapers, radio stations, magazines. UFO ufologists and skeptics were divided. Some accused him of fraud, others of mass hysteria. But there was something no one could explain. The trauma was real. The hypnosis tapes were real. The physical damage to the belongings, real. And what about the star map? Years later, An astronomy professor, Marjorie Fish, traced the diagram Betty had drawn and found something disturbing. It coincided with the star system Zeta Reticuli, which in 1961 was not fully mapped. Coincidence or a truth buried in the human unconscious?
Betty and Barney tried to move on, but nothing was the same. Barney died young in 1969 at the age of 46. Betty remained active in the UFO community until her death in 2004. She never backed down from her story. They never sought profit. They never sought fame. They were just an ordinary couple who experienced something extraordinary. They were the first to report what we now know as alien abduction. Since then, thousands of people around the world have told similar stories. Tests, lights, spaceship, blocked memories. You can choose not to believe. You can say it was delusion. You can say it was a collective dream. But on any given night, on any given road, if a light in the sky starts following you, will you have the courage to look up?
If this true story gave you chills, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell for more dark and unexplained encounters. And remember, sometimes when you stare into the stars, something stares back.